I will never accept that demagogues and extremists destroy our European way of life. And I stand here today ready to lead the fight with all the democratic forces in this House.
Well, let's unpack this now with Ulrich Brueckner. He's a professor of European Studies at Stanford University in Berlin. Prof, good to have you on the program. So voting in the EU Parliament is set to begin at 11 GMT. Von der Leyen's addressed the European Parliament, and it would have been possibly the last bit of campaigning, if we can call it that. Do you think she'll get enough votes for another term?
Well, if we compare her appearance from 5 years ago with today, she appeared much more relaxed, even happy, and the responses that she gave didn't show any sign of insecurity or being nervous. She has been massively attacked by the right-wingers that either have a very different agenda or have been disappointed by the 5 years. I think that's a major difference compared with 2019 when she was first running. But as she appears, it seems as if the deal that has been negotiated overnight will be successful.
Okay, so we're looking at von der Leyen staying in that position for another 5 years. She has also been highly critical of Hungary's Viktor Orbán for his visit to Russia. Important, I think, to note, he also went to Ukraine recently. But her criticism received much applause from MEPs. Does this reflect further isolation for Hungary's leader from some parts of the EU? And will he be concerned given his own very open criticisms of the European Union?
Well, we have to look at the role play in that very special institutional architecture. Von der Leyen appears as if she's the government head of the European Union, but the EU doesn't have a government. So she's trying to moderate the conflicting positions in the parliament that also looks like being a parliament, but it's not like a normal parliament divided between a ruling party group and an opposition. So in fact, it's a different role play because there is no ruling group that is electing a government that reports to the European Parliament. So in the current situation in the parliament, there is a majority of people who want her to give Orbán a hard time, and that's what she's responding to. And I think she's also personally convinced that what Orbán is doing is against the interests of the European Union.
Whoever becomes the next EU leader, what do you think are going to be the biggest challenges for that person?
Well, there are a lot of internal challenges. The EU urgently needs to reform in order to be ready for the announced enlargement, with up to 8 new member states within the next decade, if everything works according to plan. Then the elephant in the room is who's going to be the next American president, and what does that mean for European security? And there are a number of turbulences in the global economy and the relationship with China and a number of other conflicts that surround the European Union. So there's a lot that needs to be done independently from what Ursula von der Leyen would want to address as a reform package.
Yeah, certainly a lot to look at over the next 5 years for the EU. Professor Brueckner in Berlin, thank you so much again for your time.
For having me.